Hey guys, Dan from Trading with Dan here. Hope you guys are all well. Hope you are enjoying what's left of the weekend. Yep. So straight away over to the 15-minute Bitcoin DMT chart. So you can see we did get the sell. The sell came in. It was a wick down, put us into the sell, and obviously we're back up. We've gone back up again. So I did in fact take the short in my bot account. And that has got, this is the 3% stop loss, which is just up here. But also I did I sold some more at that level, so in my normal account, but then I did have some orders a bit lower to take some off, as I have been doing this whole range, and then I have sold a bit more at 9,400. So yeah, so I'm still working this position. It's been ranging nicely, but I think it will break out at some point. One thing you will notice, one thing that I have noticed, is that we are getting these bullish wicks that are getting prices getting bought back up again, and we are consolidating near the highs, which they are bullish signs, and they do remind me of not very long ago at all when we were having some bullish wicks after we had this sell-off here. So price was getting bought up here. We spiked up. This isn't what I'm talking about though. We then sold off here, but then if you look at this section here, we had this well, you won't really count that as a bullish wick because that was obviously part of this big sell-off, but we had this bullish wick, we had this buyback up here, we had this buyback up here, we had this bullish wick. So everything was looking bullish here. Well, not everything was looking bullish, but I mean, if you just look at the price action, these are obviously bullish candles, bullish formations in the price. But what happened was, so we were around the 6,600, 6,700 level. And price still did drift down after it decided it wasn't going to stay up. After we did have a big wipe out of the stops both ways, we then went down to about 8,200, which is obviously quite a big move from 8,700. It's a $500 move down. So what I am seeing here, obviously then we had the rally afterwards. We did rally back up to almost exactly where we were before, which is currently where we are now in this potential double top. But again, we're seeing these similar bullish wicks. This is slightly different insofar as the fact we are at the high here, the recent high with these bullish wicks, not just preceding a large a big sell candle. So there's obviously a difference there. So yeah, so I'm not necessarily saying that is what's going to happen, but I did speak in my last video about what Bitcoin is more correlated to, like the S&P or gold, and it is definitely more correlated to the S&P over a longer period of time. Although more recently it is also correlated with gold, but then gold is becoming more correlated with the S&P actually as well. So just all that fiat printing is just pushing up the price of everything. We're in the bubble of everything basically. But what does concern me is if we go over to, just go over to the S&P, the S&P. Yes, it's just the ticker for the contract, the mini contract you can trade. But yeah, so we look like we could be breaking down, here in the S&P, which I believe will drag Bitcoin down with it. If you look on like a daily chart here, just tidy that up a bit. I mean, we are. This is definitely a strong move up here. So you could easily expect a retrace down to the top to test this overhead resistance as support. I mean, that's completely reasonable, which would be quite a large drop from levels that we're at now. That would take us down, about another 5 or 6%, which is a big move in the S&P. So what I'm trying to say, if that did happen, because we have got a lot of fears gripping the market at the moment with coronavirus. I mean, anyone that tries to tell you it's not that important to financial markets, lots of large cities in China are getting basically shut down. There's no commerce going on, no people on the streets, no people are doing anything, there's no business going on. A lot of these places are obviously China is where lots of things are made. There's lots of manufacturing. A lot of the world's economic output comes from China. It's part of lots of supply chains. So if this just keeps spreading around China like it's currently doing, and China goes on like a full shutdown, that is going to be catastrophic to especially highly elevated markets at the moment. So that will definitely cause a lot bigger sell-off than what we have going on so far, and that I believe is what will drag down, what could potentially drag down the price of Bitcoin. But the other aspect we have got going for us is we have the halving coming soon. And I do know a lot of traders, a lot of like big traders that do take trading Bitcoin seriously, and they are apprehensive, to say the least, at shorting Bitcoin when we're not very far away from the halving. So I mean, you've got that factor playing on the market. So it's difficult to call at the moment. We've got some bullish crossovers in some of the larger time frame moving averages. So we have got, and we are in an uptrend. I mean, we don't look at the moment like we're gonna necessarily retest the lows this week, but but obviously the trend is your friend. Currently the trend is still up, but like I'm saying, I do think if we do have a larger sell-off in stocks, Bitcoin is a risky asset. Bitcoin, I still maintain, no one at the moment is going to convince me that Bitcoin is a risk-off asset. So just because, even if you just put it purely down to the volatility of Bitcoin, it just is not a risk-off asset. So it is going to be an interesting trading week. I think I did say in one of my previous videos, 2020 is going to be a very interesting year with what can happen with the stock markets, just what can happen with the elections, especially with Bernie Sanders looking like he is going to be the front runner. I mean, I know the Democratic Party and the DNC are going to do everything they can do, pull every trick out of the book to try and make him not the nomination, but I still believe he will be the nomination. And Republicans think that Bernie Sanders is the best candidate for Trump to go up against, because it's very easy to convince people that socialism is bad. But I think they are, I think they're underestimating people, or they're misestimating, not necessarily underestimating, but they're not maybe not correct in their view that people won't vote socialist in America. So put it this way, I think Bernie Sanders would be absolutely catastrophic to the markets. So if he becomes a nomination, and then he, like, say, has a 33% chance of winning, so say Trump has got like obviously a higher chance of winning, but you still have to factor in the fact that Bernie Sanders could then win the actual presidential election, then in theory, whatever that catastrophic drop is, you have to factor in 30% of that drop. And then if Trump gets elected, you rally that difference. And if Bernie Sanders gets elected, obviously you drop the rest of the distance. So I think that is a very clear and present risk in the markets. And I'm talking about this now because obviously I think this does affect the Bitcoin price. So if we go over to the VIX as well, VIX is making a move up. You can see you can't call this it is a descending triangle, but you can't measure the VIX the same way, because the VIX obviously um, is a market that basically will obviously has like a lower bound, which we're not far off the lower bound. So when it breaks out, it can only break out to the upside. It can't break down like an extension down here past zero. So I feel like the VIX is primed for a breakout here. And if we do look at other times in the past, we have had some pretty we're on daily here. We have had some pretty large breakouts in the VIX. You can see where we are is nothing really too much out of the ordinary. So we could definitely get a rally up to like around 50 in the VIX, and that's gonna take a lot of stocks, and I can't see Bitcoin rallying in under those conditions, but we'll see what happens. So thank you for listening, guys. For any of you guys who are relatively new to trading, I'm starting to do a whole series of videos on the basics. I've done the first one on the 50-day moving average, 50-period moving average, which is on a playlist on my YouTube. And then I'm also doing some more in-depth mentoring type videos, where I'm going to go into a lot more in depth of more of the psychology, more of just the general principles of trading and how you can improve your performance. So sort of like thinking like this way, you have your say you're a football player, you're going to have your coach, your technical coach, who will teach you the skills, do the drills, get you like knowing what you're doing in various obviously various scenarios in a game. And then you're going to get your sports psychologist, who's going to teach you more the psychology of things. So the mentoring and those videos are going to be a lot more about psychology, and then how that is a big influence on trading, on your performance, really, basically on your gains. So thanks for listening, guys. Plenty more videos coming the rest of this week. I appreciate everybody that likes and subscribes and comments on these videos, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.